At the peak of its history, Seberang Perai, Pulau Pinang, was once well known for its agricultural activity. Paddy fields make up most of its natural landscape. Rice production used to be an important activity in Seberang Perai, serving as the main supplier of rice for the island Pulau Pinang. Geographically, the island of Pulau Pinang and Seberang Perai make up the Malaysian state of Pulau Pinang. Located on the northwest coast of peninsular Malaysia, the state borders Kedah to the north and Perak to the south. With a population of over 1.7 million, Pulau Pinang is one of the most populated and urbanized states in Malaysia. Seberang Perai is connected to the island by two of Malaysia's longest road bridges. Food supply and other resources used to be imported from Seberang Perai to the island through the main river in Seberang Perai, known as Perai River. Connecting one village to another, Perai River used to serve as a main transportation link for the region, particularly for Kampung Sungai Dua, located about 11 kilometers from the river mouth. Perai River is created by the convergence of two river channels, Kulim River and Air Hitam River. Kampung Sungai Dua is located at the point where these two channels meet. The arrival of Islam was reported to be through Muslim scholars and traders during the 10th and 13th century. Kedah was one of the earliest states in peninsular Malaysia to receive the teachings of Islam through the Islamization of Sultan Muzaffar Shah I by a Muslim scholar, Sheikh Abdullah Yamani. The Kedah-Siam conflict in 1826 caused a significant population shift in Seberang Perai, as people from Kedah sought refuge from the war. The migration of the Kedahan Malays, who were already Muslims at the time, increased the Muslim population in Seberang Perai, known at the time as Province Wellesley. The culture of Pondok education contributed greatly in the guidance of Seberang Perai's population after the Kedah-Siam War. One of the first pondok in Malaysia was established by Tuan Minal, a prominent scholar from Patani. Opened in Kampung Sungai Dua, the village community often gathered here to seek his teachings of Islam. As a result, more pondoks were established across Seberang Perai by other Muslim scholars, most of whom traveled from other parts of Malaysia to deliver their message. As the pondok education system developed, it became a common culture for people to live there in preparation for Hajj.
Orang nak pergi ke Mekah dulu, kapal-kapal haji datang dia duduk di Pulau Pinang. Orang datang dulu daripada petani, daripada Asia Tenggara ni, daripada utara ni, daripada Sumatera, Perak, termasuk Kelantan semua juga akan datang sini berkampung di pondok-pondok ni. Nak pergi haji kena kursus dulu. 6 bulan duduk di sini dulu. 6 bulan datang, duduk belajar dulu cara nak pergi haji macam kita ni kursus haji kan. Duduk di pondok ni.
Tuan Haji Muhammad Luth was one of the few Muslim scholars in Kampung Sungai Dua at the time.
Tuan Guru Haji Muhammad Luth, dia ni seorang yang berasal daripada Aceh. Berasal daripada Pulau Semawai, Aceh. Jadi dia datang pada anggaran saya lebih kurang 1850-an. Jadi dia datang dulu mengajar, sebab mengajar di kampung Arakuda. Jadi di Arakuda tu dia banyak orang Aceh yang settlement tetap di situ. Dia buka kebun lada hitam. Jadi mereka ni datang buka kebun lada hitam. Dia tak ada guru nak mengajar. Jadi dia panggil guru daripada Aceh, dia punya tempat dia punya mengajar di situ. Jadi bila mengajar situ, dia orang carikan seorang isteri lah, kahwin. Jadi kahwin orang situ, dia buat rumah apa semua, dan juga dia mengasaskan masjid ni. Keturunan dia ni banyak menyumbang lah kepada pembangunan Sungai Dua ni. Pembangunan Sungai Dua ni maknanya masjid tu dan juga sekitar dulu.
Masjid Sungai Dua is a masjid located in Permatang Sungai Dua, Seberang Perai Utara. Positioned at a junction, one side of the junction is a residential area, while the other consists of timber shophouses. The construction of the masjid took place in 1902. It was initiated by Haji Muhammad Luz with the help of the villagers. The name of Masjid Sungai Dua was changed to Masjid Haji Abdul Rashid in 1984. Haji Abdul Rashid became the fourth mufti of Pulau Pinang in 1982. He was born in Kampung Sungai Dua and became a prominent scholar who also used to teach at Sekolah Agama Khairiyah in Kampung Sungai Dua. After he passed away in 1984, the villagers changed the name of the masjid in commemoration of him. The main prayer hall of Masjid Sungai Dua is rectangular in shape, with a mihrab positioned on the central axis, perpendicular to its entrance. In 1902, it was reported to feature a curved mihrab on the mihrab wall. The rectangular shape helps maximize the space for congregational prayer. It can accommodate about 100 people when arranged in 9 rows, or saf. The shape of the main prayer hall is significantly different from the traditional masjids of northern peninsular Malaysia, where the Qiblat wall is usually at the shorter side. Currently, the main prayer hall has been extended to accommodate more jama'ah for prayer. It has also been separated into male and female praying areas. The masjid layout shows a clear circulation flow from the ablution area at the entrance to the main prayer hall. The layout provides a convenient flow for prayer, with public spaces made clearly visible. With the addition of the male and female serambi, the masjid is able to accommodate more people for prayer. There is also a clear separation between the public and private spaces. Public spaces, such as the main prayer hall, are meant to accommodate a large number of people. Therefore, the spaces are open and easily accessible. Private spaces, such as the office, are not meant to be accessed by the public. Hence, the spaces are enclosed and separated from other areas by wall panels. The existing design of the masjid includes passive design elements that help the building achieve thermal comfort. Influenced by local architecture, the passive design elements at Masjid Sungai Dua are also common features of a traditional Malay house. The first element is a tiered hipped roof. The roof tiers feature gaps in between which help create a natural cross-air ventilation system. The building is also raised from the ground on stilts. This helps the building achieve thermal comfort as the air is able to circulate through the spaces. The wall encompasses openings such as windows, doors, and ventilation louvers in one panel. The openings allow air to circulate and natural light to enter the main prayer hall. It helps make the hall feel spacious, allowing occupants to pray in comfort. Masjid Sungai Dua uses masonry stump as pad footing for the one-story structure. In 1902, the stump footing, known as pelapit tiang, was used to support the timber columns. The stump prevents the contact between the timber columns and the ground, which will avoid the timber being affected by the groundwater and ground termites. This foundation type is also used in the traditional Malay houses found within the same area. Over time, the foundation system of the masjid was replaced with concrete block. Currently, the floor system construction is no longer visible to the outside. Bricks are arranged in between the exterior footings and plastered to create one continuous wall to act as a footing. It was reported that the original 12 columns in the main prayer hall were circular and made of merbau timber. Measuring 3.2 meters in height, it forms the main structure supporting the timber roof beams. The 12 columns are arranged at the center of the main prayer hall, with the beams spanning 3 meters between one column to another. The columns are arranged parallel to the saf, creating an efficient use of space. The 12 internal timber columns also went through changes, as they are now encased in clay bricks and finished with tiles. This was done in 1980 to provide a bigger and steadier support for the raised roof. The remaining 20 columns in the perimeter of the main prayer hall are 2.8 meters in height, originally of timber but now made of concrete. The external timber columns were replaced with white painted concrete plaster in the 1940s. The current mihrab at Masjid Sungai Dua is a rectangular mihrab protruding from the main prayer hall. It serves as the praying space for the imam during congregational prayers and indicates the Qibla direction. According to interviews, the original building featured a curved mihrab that was significantly smaller. This was replaced when the building was renovated in the 1950s. Based on case studies, the mihrab of Masjid Lama Kampung Tuan in Kemaman, Terengganu bears a close resemblance to the original mihrab of Masjid Sungai Dua. Although it is possibly larger than the original mihrab of Masjid Sungai Dua, it is significant as it is a curved timber mihrab connected to a timber building on stilts. The ornamentation on the mimbar have all been carved using tebuk tembus bersilat technique. It mostly includes floral motifs in curvilinear movements. Some of the floral motifs are mostly inspired by the daun sayap and floral motifs of semerangan from the creeping plants. Other smaller motifs found on the armrest of the mimbar are cultivated from the suku kacang and awan larat motif, symbolizing a symmetrical balance. Lastly, Arabic calligraphy is also featured on the mimbar. It features a verse from Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayat 1-2. The female praying area is separated from the male praying area using curtains. The main prayer hall initially only accommodated male jama'ah. In 1989, the main prayer hall was extended towards the back to create space for female jama'ah. However, the curtains are drawn during Friday prayers, removing the barrier between the male and female praying areas. This is to allow the main prayer hall to accommodate as much male jama'ah as possible. The male surambi, or veranda, was added in 1980 to provide additional prayer space for the masjid. It was added to accommodate the growing population of Kampung Sungai Dua. Currently, the male surambi serves as an informal meeting space for the local community before and after congregational prayer. The male surambi is directly connected to the male ablution area. The male ablution area consists of a roof structure and a water trough, known as a kolah. The kolah was added in 1980 to replace the well, or telaga. The female surambi is directly connected to the female praying area. It was added during the renovation in 1998. It also connects the female praying area to the female ablution area. The female ablution area is made up of partitions and is covered by the roof of the female surambi. A minaret is a tower that is built adjacent or built into a masjid, only served to call people for prayer, or azan, but also as a visual focal point of the masjid. Masjid Sungai Dua used a beduk to call for prayer before the development of the minaret in 1989. The minaret was built using masonry materials and measures 12.3 meters high from the base to the finial. The yellow dome at the top is crowned by a finial symbol. The minaret consists of ventilation blocks on each side and a door to enter for maintenance purposes. The wall panels are a decorative timber panel system known as jandu berhias. Each panel is made up of strips of papan dinding that have been neatly framed or berhuni down. Doors or windows are also installed within a single framed panel. They are arranged in a rectangular clad manner, also known as berpetak-petak. The tiered roof structure is a common feature of masjids in the Aceh and Java region. The three-tiered roof of Masjid Sungai Dua can also be referred to as atap tumpang tiga. It is believed that the tiered roof symbolizes the journey of becoming closer to God, where each tier represents a step within that journey. A masjid with a comparable roof structure is Masjid Pengkalan Kakap in Merbok, Kedah. The internal roof structure of Masjid Pengkalan Kakap has been left exposed and is believed to be similar to that of Masjid Sungai Dua. In 1902, the interior of the main prayer hall featured timber finishings. Over time, it went through many significant changes. In 1980, the floor system was changed from timber to concrete. The internal columns were also later enhanced with concrete. The plaster ceiling was added in 2013. When air conditioning was installed in 2015, colored glass panels were added to the louvers and ventilation panels. This limited the amount of natural light entering the masjid, so additional light fixtures were installed. The most prominent feature of Masjid Sungai Dua is the three-tiered bumbung limas. It is believed that the tiered roof is a direct influence of traditional masjid architecture from Aceh. The roof structure begins with timber roof beams that rest on the 12 internal columns. Timber rafters and purlins allow the roof finishing to be installed. The roof was originally finished with zinc but was later replaced with asbestos. The second roof tier is supported by the first roof tier through a timber post and a roof joist, transferring its load to the timber columns. This is repeated for the third roof tier, then topped with a timber ridge board. In addition, each tier is also lined with decorative fascia board or papan cantik. Lastly, the entire roof structure is connected to the walls of the mosque through timber wall plates. The three-tiered roof went through one significant change in 1989. The bottom tier was raised to join with the second tier. The rafters of the bottom tier were tilted at a steeper angle to join with the tip of the rafters on the second tier. In addition, a new top tier was constructed to maintain the three-tier structure. As a result, the internal height of the main prayer hall was increased. The roof form is a development of the traditional roof, known as bumbung perabung lima. Its improvement creates a more effective water runoff, as it does not have a tebalaya. The tiered roof structure represents one's journey in becoming closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The bottom tier represents Shariat, which is the essence of truth, symbolizing the revealed knowledge as the foundation of faith. The second tier represents Tariqat, which is the straight path followed by those who seek for the knowledge of God. The topmost tier represents Ma'rifat, which is the certainty of spiritual truth. The wall panels of Masjid Sungai Dua are also made of merbau timber. Merbau timber is reported to be a durable and versatile hardwood, suitable for both structural and non-structural members. They are made to include openings such as windows, doors, and louvers. The windows of the main prayer hall are known as tingkap labo, or low window. They span across the height of the wall panel and are equipped with window shutters. Louvers and carved ornamentation with colored glass panels are added above the windows, allowing air and natural light into the main prayer hall. The wall panels used to be connected to the external columns using tongue and groove joints, known as tanggam lidah dan lurah, allowing the members to be joined without nails. Currently, concrete infills act as framing and connect the timber wall panels to the external concrete columns. This was added in 1950 when the external columns were changed from timber to concrete. The most prominent ornamentation found at Masjid Sungai Dua are the ventilation panels found above the windows of the Qiblah wall. The ornamentation is mainly made up of a semicircular frame with floral motifs. Coiling leaves are featured in the upper corners of the panel, while the main floral motif, known as buncir pasu, is framed in the middle. The colored glass panels are a recent addition to the mosque. They were added in 2015 when air conditioning was being installed to the building. They were mainly added to cover up the louvers and ventilation panels so that the air conditioning can be used more efficiently. The masjid featured a timber floor system during its establishment, similar to that of a traditional Malay house. Timber floor beams were connected to the columns through mortise and tenon joints. Timber floor joists are laid on the beams and finally finished with timber floor panels, known as papan lantai. In 1950, the floor system was changed from timber to concrete. A concrete floor slab is supported by concrete beams. The building structure of Masjid Sungai Dua in 1902 were mostly made of timber. Structural elements were connected to one another through joints, or tanggam. Similar to other timber buildings built in that era, the construction limited the use of nails and instead used mainly mortise tenon and lap joint systems. As time passes, some of the structural elements were changed from timber to concrete. This was done to prolong the building's lifespan and ensure it is structurally capable for future use. The masjid was originally made fully of merbau timber and only consisted of one main prayer hall. Based on research, the original form of Masjid Sungai Dua consisted of a timber rectangular structure on stilts and a curved mihrab. The three-tiered bumbung lima roof originally consisted of tiers that were of equal heights. The three-tiered roof and use of merbau timber were reported to be direct influences of Aceh architecture. The only additional feature of the masjid at the time was a well that served as a water source for ablution. The ablution area is left uncovered in order to collect the rainwater. There was no minaret then, and a buduk was used for the calling of adhan. In the 1950s, a balai lintang was constructed next to the masjid. It was a fully timber structure and was built to accommodate rewang activities for Kampung Sungai Dua. The external columns were changed from timber to white plastered concrete. The floor system was changed from timber to concrete, and a new rectangular mihrab was also constructed to replace the curved mihrab. In 1980, the main prayer hall was extended towards the back to provide a female praying area. An elongated serambi was added to create a new entrance and provide additional space for prayer. A kolah, or water trough, was added to act as a convenient ablution facility. Significant changes were made to the three-tiered roof. The bottom tier was lifted to join with the second tier, increasing the overall height of the roof. A new top tier was also constructed. A minaret was added in front of the masjid, and a male and female toilet was constructed next to the kolah during this phase. Awnings were added as extended overhangs on the building exterior. Additional spaces were added to the mosque in 1998. A female serambi was added behind the female praying area. Walls were erected to the balai lintang to accommodate a new office. The space is used for administrative purposes and for holding weekly classes. Next to the office, the Tok Siap's house was constructed. In 2017, changes were again made to accommodate a significant renovation. Rumah Tok Siap and the toilet were demolished. A car porch was then constructed, and a newer toilet was added to the back of the mosque. The paddy field on the lot directly behind the masjid was also tarred to provide space for future improvements and improve the masjid's accessibility. It is clear that the local community of Kampung Sungai Dua has demonstrated a great level of care towards the masjid. Although it has gone through many changes, its significance towards the community remains unchanged. As the layers of its history are uncovered, there is much to learn about the culture of the local population. Masjid Sungai Dua symbolizes the teachings of a scholar, the faith of a community, and the influences of its elusive beauty.
Satu pun yang ku miliki, walau ku tak sempurna, kau tetap terus ada.
Tiada kisah kau rasa susah senang lalui bersama, percayalah aku kan tetap ada.